some money.
You know, and they did. They just walked in with $1.3 million this past year to get the harbor dredge down here that wasn't going to be done because we're not a commercial harbor. And you gotta, it's each and every one of them working very hard together. Kathy Young, our state senator, you know, you understand from where she was to where she is today under the Democratic Party controlling Congress and Senate, a lot of her member item money has dried up. That used to be available to us. Bill Parment, you know, he's always been with the majority in the assembly down there. Bill just gave us a small grant. No, it's not really small. You say $50,000. That's not small, and helped us toward our engineering studies toward what we need to get done on our water purification plant. We're going through tremendous changes in the city of Dunkirk, only because of our antiquated system that we have. I just see in, I can't remember if it was Business First or if it was one of the government magazines, Buffalo just finished doing a $20-some million renovation on a water pumping station. And it's the same age as the one in the city of Dunkirk. It's 80 years old and starting to break down. It's getting tired. It needs some replacement.
Okay. We got a phone call. Want to take it?
Sure.
Hey, morning. Good morning, caller. Hello.
Okay. Hey, good morning, Mayor.
Good morning, young lady. How are you?
Mayor. Yeah, right. Yeah, with my brother, you know, Jim Pomeroy, you know.
So, this is Jane Pomeroy.
Oh, hi, Jane. How are you?
Hi, I'm fine. I love it.
Patty always says to say hello to you whenever I see you.
Uh-huh. Okay.
Yeah.
How is Dunkirk going to make up taxes?
Make up tax?
From the power plant?
Oh, that's a question, yeah.
Well,
Of course, they cut their taxes considerably.
well, they're on a pilot program, Jeannie, and we just negotiated 2 years ago. It's 2 years ago. We just negotiated a new contract, a new pilot agreement with NRG, and we have increased our revenue with them over the past years from the previous pilot. And we're very satisfied of what they're bringing to the table. Could they bring more? Of course they do. But they're good to the community. I mean, we've gone to them on several things. We've worked with them. They've contributed. But their tax base through their pilot program is it's a much better program than it was the one that we renewed previous to ours.
Okay, so does that answer your question?
That's good.
Well, thank you very
Okay.
much. Thanks for the call.
Thank you, young lady.
You know me, don't you? Don't you know me?
Oh,
Okay.
yes, I do, young lady.
Yep, you're nice people. And your wife is good too. Oh,
She's a gracious lady.
Uh-huh. Okay, goodbye.
Bye-bye.
Have a nice day, Janie.
Okay.
Old friends and people. You must know everybody in Dunkirk.
Well, I try. But, you know, if I don't know some of the kids, I know the grandparents.
Yeah.
And, I guess I do have
That's
a
what
little,
I say to kids.
yeah.
I used to say, I know your father. And I say, I know your grandfather.
Yeah, right. That's,
I dated your grandma.
Yeah, right.
Okay, we're talking with Mayor of Dunkirk, Dick Frey, and he's here to talk about anything you want. You can call him and ask him questions, as have other people. We are live on the air Saturday morning, 9 to 10 every Saturday morning. And now, you are second largest city. Dunkirk is a little bit smaller than Jamestown.
Oh, yeah,
And
definitely.
there's some dark sides to the city and problems also, drug problems, for instance. That's all we read about in the paper. And I see Fredonia's mayor said, the heck with you, we're not going to contribute money to this thing. Because all you're doing is just spending the money and nothing's happened. There are more drugs around than ever before. They're cheaper. They're rolling in. There's no problem here. You got all these, you're spending millions of dollars, our money. Stop it with these so-called raids, which don't seem to have any effect at all, because the minute you raid a place and take away the bad guys, there are new guys on the street within seconds selling the drugs. What do you do about this?
Well, the drug enforcement crews that we have on force, you know.
Yeah.
And, I am a little disappointed in the Fredonia mayor and his attitude with the drug enforcement. We're pulling one of the officers off of it. It's kind of like saying to us,
They've won.
We don't have
They've
a
lost the drug war.
Yeah,
The war against drugs.
we don't have a problem in Fredonia. Well, that's not true, you know.
Well, I think every kid over in the university at one
Well,
time or the other has
if
had
you want-
alcohol, they're underage, and secondly, which is a drug, and secondly, they smoke pot. I've seen them smoking pot over there myself.
Yeah, well, if you want to go back 40, 50 years ago when when the university was starting to get really big, and you had an awful lot of
That's when I was
enrollment
going
from
there.
the city,
Yeah,
from
well,
New York
actually,
City
when
and so
I
on.
went there, they had 800 students.
Yeah, well, you're going back to the time when they started getting a big influx from New York City. And a gentleman spoke to a Rotary Club dinner that I was at one time. He says, once you get that traffic from the city, you're going to have some problems.
Gonna pop.
And it has occurred. Now, and I'm not pinpointing a college by no means, but I do, because we have our problems in the city of Dunkirk. But we are trying to address it. And we have a great staff, a great police department, and I'll tell you, they are just doing an outstanding job. I'm very pleased for every penny we invested in it, and I'm disappointed that Fredonia has the attitude they have on it, and I'm kind of hoping maybe it'll come around. The chiefs of police just went back to the county legislature and said, we need some permanent funding. They lost their federal funding they got, and then Kathy Young, of course, she used to get money for them. That money dried up on her because of the new situation in the state senate.
So the state isn't interested in giving any
No.
money for this. Fed doesn't care. So why would the local people care?
Well, that's
Nobody else cares.
But this is our responsibility. I mean, and this is, and I'm proud of what they do, and we fought to get it here. I go back several years, as long as we've been in the drug enforcement business in the city of Dunkirk, and that goes back to former Councilman Maku, who was the one that, along with myself and Chief Ortolano, that was working with former gentleman, sheriff's guy, supervisor up there in Stockton, Runkle. Yeah, he was ahead of it. He was the one that came to us, and through Chief Sheriff Gerasi, they work with us, and we're on the team, and we're part of the team now. And this is another case of that regionalism. We can't do it alone. We need help, and we need money to operate. And I hope that that the county legislature will realize the needs that we have in the city with some, not just the city, but we do the whole area, all of Stockton County. You know, it is to think that you don't want to partake because it doesn't affect you directly. That's not true at all, because it does affect you. And it's not only the drug problem, but you got to go with what related with the drugs. The robberies, the muggings,
They have to steal the money to buy the drugs.
That's it. You know, I mean, it's the crime that's associated with
And
it.
killings. You've got a number of murders there. that
Well,
they
go to
think are-
Buffalo. Buffalo is just,
That's just terrible.
that's really getting out of line down there, out of hand down there, you know, and it's kind of scary.
Yeah, well, that's the hell of it. You know, I must ask you, I'm sure you know the answer. Do you know what the largest cash crop in Chautauqua County is?
I'm afraid to ask you the question.
Marijuana.
I knew you were going to tell me that.
The hills are full of marijuana. They're trying to stamp it out, but they, you know, again, it costs millions of dollars, and who has it at this point? They've actually legalized marijuana for the most part in New York State and most other states, because they decriminalized it and made it just a minor fine or something for a small amount. I mean, if you got a huge bag of it, then you're probably a dealer.
I think somebody, didn't they just get knocked off the other day over around the hills over there with 3 pounds of it in his car?
I've seen personally 2 different marijuana farms up there as a journalist, and I'm telling you, they're all over the place, everywhere, and they sell it a good buck. Since they can't seem to sell it.
I'm proud of what we're doing with our drug enforcement. We work very hard at it, and our police agencies do. You know, everybody complains about what the policeman makes or the fireman makes and that, but how many guys are going to strap their guns on and go out and face what they face every day, the uncertainty that's out there, or the burning house that the guy goes into? You know, how many people want to do that for a living? You know?
Especially when most firemen around here don't do it for a living; they volunteer it.
Well, that's it. But in the city, we're fortunate. We have a professional paid fire department, and we've gone totally that way under my administration, and with cooperation of the council and that. You know, we've looked at this. We worked hard.
You're one
at
of the
it.
very few that has a paid fire
Full paid.
department.
Jamestown ourselves.
We have, as we are sitting here, just below us, on the floor downstairs, they're having a big training program for firemen and fire ladies, and I guess it's firefighters is the current politically correct term. I'm too old to that. Firemen all over. I happen to be a fireman too.
Yeah.
And they are all volunteers. They're on duty 24/7, and they don't get paid a penny for this. And they are saving hundreds of lives with the ambulances, and they're saving millions of dollars in